Welcome to Rupert Reads. Today we're going to continue with The Adventures of Buster Bear. Chapter 19, Buster Bear Has a Fine Time. Buster Bear was having the finest time he has had since he came down to the green woods to live in the green forest. To be sure, it wasn't in the green forest now, but he wasn't far from it. He was in the old pasture, one edge of which touches one edge of the green forest. And where do you think he was? In the old pasture? Why, right in the middle of the biggest patch of the biggest blueberries he ever seen in all his life. Now, if there is any one thing that Buster Bear had rather have above another, it is all the berries he can eat, unless it be honey. Nothing can quite equal honey in Buster's mind, but next to honey, give him berries. He isn't particular what kind of berries. Raspberries, blackberries, or blueberries, either kind, will make him perfectly happy. My, but these are good, he mumbled in his deep, rumbly voice as he sat on his haunches, stripping off the berries greedily. His little eyes twinkled with enjoyment, and he didn't mind at all if now and then he got leaves, and some green berries in his mouth with the big, ripe berries. He didn't try to get them out. Oh my, no. He just chomped them all up together and patted his stomach with sheer delight. Now, Buster had reached the old pasture just as Jolly, Round, Mr. Sun had crept out of bed, and he had fully made up his mind that he would be back in the green forest before Mr. Sun had climbed very far up in the blue sky. You see, as big as he is, and strong as he is, Buster is very shy and bashful, and he has no desire to meet Farmer Brown or Farmer Brown's boy, or any other of those two-legged creatures called men. It seemed funny, but he actually is afraid of them, and he had a feeling that he was a great deal more likely to meet one of them in the old pasture than deep in the green forest. So when he started to look for berries, he made up his mind that he would eat what he could in a great hurry and get back to the green forest before Farmer Brown's boy was more than out of bed. But when he found those berries, he was so hungry that he forgot his fears and everything else. They tasted so good that he just had to eat and eat and eat. Now, you know that Buster is a big fellow, and it takes a lot to fill him up. He kept eating and eating and eating, and the more he ate, the more he wanted. You know how it is. So he wandered from one patch of berries to another in the old pasture, and never once thought of his time. Somehow, time is the hardest thing in the world to remember when you're having a good time. Jolly, round, red Mr. Sun climbed higher and higher in the blue sky. He looked down on the green world and saw all that was going on. He saw Buster Bear in the old pasture and smiled as he saw what a perfectly glorious time Buster was having. And he saw something else in the old pasture that made him smile still broader. He saw Farmer Brown's boy filling a great tin pail with blueberries, and how he knew that Farmer Brown's boy didn't know that Buster Bear was anywhere about, and he knew that Buster Bear didn't know that Farmer Brown's boy was anywhere about. And somehow he felt very sure that he would see something funny happen if they should chance to meet. Mumbled Buster Bear with his mouth full as he moved along to another patch of berries, and then he gave a little gasp of surprise and delight. Right in front of him was a shiny thing just full of the finest, biggest, bluest berries. There were no leaves or green ones there. Buster blinked his greedy little eyes rapidly and looked again. No, he wasn't dreaming. They were real berries, and all he had got to do was to help himself. Buster looked sharply at the shiny thing that held the berries. It seemed perfectly harmless. He reached out a big paw and pushed it gently. It tipped over and spilled out a lot of the berries. Yes, it was perfectly harmless. Buster gave a little sigh of pure happiness. He would eat those berries to the last one, and then he would go home to the green forest. That's the end of this chapter. Thank you for joining us today, and if you liked what you heard, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you.